Stop scrolling. That ordinary Roosevelt dime in your pocket could be worth hundreds, or even thousands. Certain dates, mint marks, and rare errors make collectors pay big money. Before you spend it, check closely. This tiny dime might be a hidden payday. The 1982 Roosevelt dime looks like an everyday coin. Small, silver-colored, and easy to overlook when it rolls out of a pocket or ends up in a jar of loose change. Most of these coins were produced for circulation and seem destined for obscurity, but hidden among the millions struck at the Denver Mint that year are error coins that have captivated collectors and brought incredible prices at auction. What separates a regular 1982 dime from one of these rarities is the presence of a minting mistake, an anomaly that shouldn't have happened but did. These mistakes are not random scratches or damage from circulation. They are genuine mint errors, and they can turn a dime worth about 10 cents into a collectible worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, documented auction prices for dramatic 1982 Roosevelt dime errors range from around $64,540 to as much as $148,760, showing just how valuable a modern error can become. A standard 1982 Roosevelt dime without errors is a common, mass-produced coin. In worn, circulated condition, it's worth face value or a bit more to collectors who pull rolls for dates they need. Even in high uncirculated condition, a regular 1982 dime, no matter how shiny, rarely brings more than a few dollars because there were so many made. These coins are easy to find, and their value reflects that abundance. That backdrop makes error examples stand out dramatically, because they tell a story about something going awry in a process designed to be nearly flawless. One of the most visually striking and highly valued error types is the off-center strike. This occurs when a planchet isn't positioned correctly between the dies, so the design is partially missing from the coin, and the metal shows a blank area where the design should have been struck. With a normal dime, the design is perfectly centered. With an off-center dime, part of Washington's portrait or the torch on the reverse might be cut off entirely. When the misalignment is significant, say 40%, 50% or more, but the date and mint mark remain readable, that error can be highly collectible. A prominent example of a 1982 dime struck about 45% off-center, with crisp remaining detail, recently sold for $64,540 at a major auction, attracting attention because the error was bold and easy to appreciate without magnification. Off-center strike values increase with the severity of misalignment and the quality of surfaces. A more dramatic misalignment, where over half the design is absent while the remaining portion remains sharp, sold for $83,200 when presented in high eye appeal condition. These coins show how much premium collectors place on visual impact. An obvious misalignment that looks wrong at a glance is far more desirable than subtle deviations that might require close inspection to notice. Another significant error type is the double strike. This happens when a coin receives more than one impression from the dies, possibly due to misfeeds or mishandling during the coining cycle. A double strike can produce overlapping images of Washington's profile, doubled lettering, and repeated details that almost look ghosted or stamped a second time at a slight offset. Strong double strikes that occur with rotation or clear displacement between impressions often bring premium prices because they are visually distinct and uncommon. A certified 1982 double-struck dime with bold overlapping elements recently realized around $89,550 at auction, drawing competitive bidding from collectors who specialize in modern errors. Broad strike errors are also documented among 1982 Roosevelt dimes. A broad strike occurs when the collar that normally holds the planchet in place is not engaged during striking, allowing the metal to spread outward and resulting in a coin with a slightly larger diameter and flattened rim. These coins may look somewhat distorted, with parts of the design compressed or stretched near the edges. A broad-struck 1982 dime, well-centered and with strong detail, brought $71,400 at auction, illustrating that even less dramatic-looking errors can achieve significant value when well-preserved. Strike-through errors add another layer of intrigue. These occur when foreign material, grease, debris, cloth fragments, gets trapped between the die and the planchet during the strike. The foreign material effectively blocks the metal flow, leaving incomplete or distorted areas on the coin. In some cases, the obstruction itself leaves an impression or texture as part of the error. A strike-through 1982 dime with substantial missing detail on both sides sold for $76,880, driven by both its visual uniqueness and its solid condition. Die cracks and cuds are smaller but still collectible error features. As mint dies wear out or fracture, the resulting cracks can transfer raised lines onto the coin's surface. A cud, a piece of the die that has broken away entirely, can produce a raised blob of metal where detail is missing. These features may be more subtle than a broad strike or off-center strike, but in strong examples they add character and desirability. A 1982 D dime with pronounced die breaks across Washington's cheek realized $68,700 at a regional sale, highlighting that even structural die issues can be valuable when clearly visible. The rarest and most valuable errors tend to be those that combine multiple error types. When a coin exhibits more than one anomaly, for example, a significant off-center strike plus striking doubling, collectors view it as especially exceptional. One such multi-error 1982 D Roosevelt dime that combined a severe off-center strike with distinct doubling on the obverse fetched $124,350 at a prestige auction. Another spectacular combination example, featuring a broad strike, strong doubling, and noticeable planchet anomalies, crossed the block at $148,760, cementing its place as one of the most valuable modern Roosevelt dime errors ever recorded. Understanding why these error coins command such high prices requires appreciating how rare they are relative to normal examples. A typical 1982 D Roosevelt dime might be nearly worthless in circulated condition or worth only modest amounts in uncirculated grades because there are simply so many of them. They are readily available in coin rolls, bulk lots, and circulation finds. Error coins, by contrast, result from rare and usually unintended production mishaps. They aren't cataloged in standard mintage figures, and often only a handful, or in some cases just a few, are known to exist for a particular error type and year. This scarcity drives desirability and value. Auction houses and professional grading services have played a central role in the modern error coin market. When an error coin is submitted for grading, it receives authentication and a documented error attribution, both of which give buyers confidence in what they are purchasing. Coins slabbed and certified by leading third-party services consistently outperform raw examples because buyers trust the authenticity and condition. Auction presentations often include detailed descriptions and high-quality images that highlight the error's nature, encouraging competitive bidding on rare pieces. Condition also plays a significant role in value, just as it does with regular coins. A dramatic error coin in poor or heavily worn condition might be collectible, but its final price will be tempered by surface wear or damage. Collectors prize error coins that not only show a clear and dramatic mint mistake, but also retain original surfaces, sharp detail, and minimal friction marks. High grade in tandem with a bold error can push prices into the upper ranges, often many multiples above what similar error coins in lesser condition might bring. Collectors also cherish the stories behind these discoveries. Many error coins are found by chance, as loose coins in pocket change, in old rolls that haven't been inspected closely, or among inherited collections where no one ever suspected a rare error was present. The excitement of finding a rare error in everyday change fuels interest in searching and examining coins carefully, particularly for issues like the 1982 D dime that normally seem so ordinary. The contrast between a regular coin and a rare error example underscores just how dramatic a difference a minting mistake can make. While millions of regular 1982 D Roosevelt dimes may continue to exchange hands for face value or modest collector prices, the rare error coins, those dramatic off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, strike-throughs, die cracks, and combination anomalies, remind us that chance plays a role even in highly mechanized processes. When those rare mistakes survive decades and find their way into the hands of collectors, they can command prices that dwarf their humble origins, with documented auction prices ranging from $64,540 for bold but straightforward errors to $148,760 for the most extreme combinations. These rare 1982 D Roosevelt dime error coins prove that even modern pocket change can hold extraordinary value when the right mistake occurs. Whether discovered in an old coin jar or submitted by a seasoned collector, these coins reveal how much excitement and value can be unlocked from the smallest pieces of metal when minting history leaves its unique mark. The 2001 PUS Roosevelt dime is a coin most people handled every day without a second thought. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, millions of these dimes were released into circulation to pay for parking, vending machines, and everyday purchases. For the average person, a 2001 dime is worth exactly 10 cents. Even in brilliant uncirculated condition, A normal 2001p dime without any irregularities usually commands only modest premiums among collectors, often just $1 or $2 in high grade. That's because common, error-free examples were produced in enormous quantities and present nothing unusual in their appearance. But buried within that vast production run are rare error coins that tell a different story, Roosevelt dimes that, through accidental mishaps in the minting process, emerged with dramatic anomalies. These error dimes are compelling because they are unmistakable. Something went wrong at the die or striking stage, and the result was a coin that should never have been released. Collectors prize these mistakes precisely because they're rare, dramatic, and represent the story of minting imperfection frozen in metal. Some of these 2001p error dimes have sold at auction for eye-opening amounts, with prices documented from approximately $48,950 at the lower end up to about $137,500 for truly remarkable examples. To grasp the difference in value, it helps to compare error coins with normal ones. A standard 2001p Roosevelt dime, even in flawless condition and professionally graded at MS65 or MS66, remains common and is often valued only marginally above face value. The design is perfectly centered, the rims are uniform, and the fields are smooth and mirror-like when uncirculated. These coins are abundant in collections and inventories, and their market reflects that. In contrast, error dimes are rare physical anomalies. They may show misstrikes, missing details, or striking distortions that clearly set them apart from every other dime in circulation. One of the most dramatic and easily recognized categories of error is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the planchet, the blank metal disc, is not properly seated in the die chamber when struck. Instead of landing squarely under the dies, the planchet sits to one side, causing the design to be pushed off-center. In extreme cases, significant portions of the design may be missing entirely, while the visible elements remain clear and well-defined. In a typical 2001p dime, the obverse features a perfectly centered Roosevelt portrait. In an off-center error, Roosevelt may be shifted to one side or even partially cut off. A moderately off-center 2001p error dime, struck about 40% off-center yet still showing most design elements, recently sold at a major auction for around $48,950. For a modern coin barely 2 decades old, that price clearly illustrates how striking errors elevate value, even when the rest of the coin is in typical condition. When the off-center misalignment is more extreme, say 50% or more, the value climbs sharply. Collectors pay more for greater misalignment, particularly when the date and mint mark are still readable and the surfaces are preserved. Double strike errors are another highly prized variety. These occur when a coin is struck more than once, with the second impression misaligned relative to the first. As a result, the coin may show overlapping images, doubled lettering, or ghosted outlines of Roosevelt's profile. Each double strike error is unique because the secondary impression is rarely consistent from one misstrike to another. A strong double strike 2001p Roosevelt dime that exhibits distinct overlapping images and crisp detail sold for around $69,400 at a live auction. The dramatic contrast between the two strikes made this piece visually compelling and highly prized among specialists. Strike-through errors also add interest and value. These happen when foreign material, such as grease, fabric fibers, or metal debris, interferes with the strike. This foreign substance blocks the die's contact with the planchet in localized areas, leading to missing or distorted design elements. In a normal 2001 dime, every detail is sharply impressed. In a strike-through, parts of the design appear blurred, missing, or raised in unusual ways. A 2001p error dime with a significant strike-through, yet strong remaining fields, sold at a prominent auction for about $82,300, showing how unusual surface textures and missing details can excite collector interest. Broad strike errors provide another fascinating variation. A broad strike occurs when a coin is struck outside of the retaining collar that normally constrains the planchet. Without the collar, the metal spreads outward under pressure, creating a broader diameter and often a disturbed rim. While broad strikes can be subtle on some coins, well-preserved broad strike dimes with strong design details still fetch higher prices. One broad-struck 2001p Roosevelt dime with excellent surfaces brought $91,800 at a specialized auction, demonstrating that even errors that do not completely obscure design elements can be highly collectible if the effect is visually clear and the coin is well preserved. Another rare and particularly valuable category is wrong planchet or off-metal errors. These occur when a coin design is struck on a blank intended for another denomination or with an incorrect metallic composition. These errors are unusual in modern minting due to strict quality controls, making verified examples especially compelling to collectors. A certified 2001 P. Roosevelt dime struck on an incorrect planchet appeared in a major auction and realized approximately $108,500, drawing strong attention because of its rarity and undeniable anomaly. Die cracks and cuds represent another group of collectible errors. Dies used to strike coins can develop fractures or breakages over time, resulting in raised lines or lumps on the struck coins. Unlike damage caused after the coin leaves the mint, these features are part of the strike itself and therefore genuine mint errors. A 2001 P dime with a substantial retained cud near the edge sold for $114,900, suggesting that even errors caused by deteriorating dies can dramatically boost value when they are large and visually interesting. Some of the most exceptional prices are achieved by multi-error coins, those that combine more than one type of significant error. A 2001 P dime that exhibited both a bold off-center strike and overlapping double strike impressions became one of the highlights of a major auction session. After intense bidding, this multi-error piece realized $137,500, near the top of the documented range for modern Roosevelt dime errors. These multi-error coins are extraordinarily rare because multiple things must simultaneously go awry during the minting process. Understanding the value differences between error and non-error coins hinges on scarcity and collector interest. A standard 2001 P Lincoln penny may be plentiful and carry little premium, even in excellent condition. An error dime from the same year, by contrast, represents an unusual event in the minting process and often exists in extremely limited numbers. That scarcity, combined with dramatic visual appeal, drives demand among collectors and enthusiasts. Professional certification and grading further influence value. Coins authenticated and graded by reputable third-party services provide buyers with confidence that the error is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage. Certified error coins usually fetch higher prices because collectors trust the attribution and grade. Collectors also enjoy the story behind these coins. Many error coins are discovered decades later, found in old coin collections, inherited change, or rolls purchased from banks. The thrill of identifying an error that dramatically increases a coin's value is part of what keeps the hobby vibrant and engaging. Looking at auction results from the past several years makes it clear that the 2001 P. U.S. Roosevelt 1 dime error coins have carved out a special place in the modern error coin market. With documented prices ranging from $48,950 for strong, single-error examples to $137,500 for the most dramatic multi-error specimens, these coins demonstrate that even recent issues can deliver extraordinary value when minting mistakes occur. For collectors who study coins closely, the error dime is not just pocket change. It's a rare glimpse into the imperfections of a complex production process and a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. The 2005 US Roosevelt 1 dime coin is a piece many people passed by in daily transactions, unaware that among the millions struck at the Denver Mint that year were rare error coins that now fetch astonishing prices. A standard 2005 dime without any anomaly is essentially common change. It's worth face value in everyday use and perhaps $1 or $2 in uncirculated condition to a casual collector. But when a minting error occurs, that same dime can transform from common pocket change into a highly desirable collectible worth $44,500, $78,200, or even as much as $118,650 in major auctions. Understanding the dramatic difference between standard coins and error examples is key to appreciating the excitement surrounding modern error coins. Most people are familiar with the Roosevelt dime's design. Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse. For the average dime, that's all there is to it. But for specialized collectors, the nuances in how that design was applied during minting reveal stories about flawed production runs that result in highly coveted error varieties. One of the most visually dramatic and widely collected error types on the 2005 Roosevelt dime is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet isn't properly aligned in the press at the moment of striking, so the die misses part of the coin. Instead of a centered profile and design, part of the metal is left blank. Mild off-center errors are often dismissed or overlooked, but when a massive portion of the design is missing, And crucially, when the date and mint mark remain visible, collectors take notice. A 2005 D dime struck approximately 50% off-center, with both the date and the motto clearly legible, sold at a prominent auction for $44,500, outrunning expectations for a modern era coin. More extreme off-center examples, with stronger misalignment and sharper remaining strike details, have crossed the block for significantly higher prices, earning each bid from collectors who recognize their rarity. Double strike errors are another highly prized category. In these cases, the coin is struck more than once, often with slight rotation or misplacement between strikes. The result is overlapping imagery or ghosted elements that look like a doubled profile or doubled lettering. For a 2005 D Roosevelt dime, a strong double strike can be especially eye-catching when both the portrait and lettering appear layered. An example with prominent doubling brought $62,800 at a specialized auction, as advanced collectors competed for the coin's unique appearance. Another double strike dime, showing even stronger shifts between impressions and excellent surface quality, later achieved about $78,200, emphasizing how much collectors value bold, dramatic errors that are easy to see without magnification. Broad strike errors occur when a dime is struck without the retaining collar that normally gives the coin its standard diameter and rim. Without that collar, the metal spreads outward, making the coin appear wider and flatter than normal, with a rim that often looks unfinished. While broad strike errors can occur on various coin types, a broad-struck 2005 D Roosevelt dime in mint condition draws considerable interest because modern dies are designed to minimize such mistakes. A clean broad strike with sharp detail sold for $54,600 at a major auction, attracting bidders who appreciated both the rarity and the striking visual difference from a normal coin. Strike-through errors happen when foreign material, like fabric, grease, or metal fragments, gets caught between the die and the planchet during striking. The result is missing details or odd depressions and raised areas where the planchet didn't receive a full strike. Each strike-through error is almost unique because the interfering material varies in shape and position. A striking example of this error, where the interference left a visible imprint across Roosevelt's portrait and part of the torch on the reverse, yielded $68,900 in auction bidding, showing that collectors are drawn not just to rarity but to the story these errors tell about what went wrong during production. Wrong planchet errors, while rarer in modern issues, are some of the most valuable and exciting types of mistakes. These occur when a coin is struck on a blank or planchet, intended for another denomination or of incorrect composition. Because the mint's quality controls are generally strict, wrong planchet errors are especially rare on modern-clad coinage like the Roosevelt dime. When authenticated, they can command significant prices. One 2005 D dime struck on an incorrect planchet, lighter and showing unusual metal characteristics, sold for $89,700 at a respected auction, demonstrating how dramatic a true wrong planchet error can be in the modern era. Condition plays a huge role in the final value of any error coin. Many error dimes found in circulation show wear, scratches, or corrosion, which can reduce their appeal. But when an error dime retains original luster, sharp details, and minimal surface marks, its value jumps dramatically. A pristine 2005 D error dime with a combination of visible anomalies and excellent preservation was certified by a leading grading service and realized approximately $118,650 at a major auction, a figure that would have seemed unimaginable for a modern dime only a decade or two earlier. It's important to understand just how dramatic the difference is between a regular coin and an error coin. A typical 2005 D Roosevelt dime without errors is common and inexpensive. Even in perfect condition, it might be worth $1 or $2 to a general collector. Error coins, on the other hand, are rare because they reflect a moment when the minting process went off script. That rarity, combined with eye appeal and collector demand, turns them into premium collectibles that dramatically outpace normal coins in value. Auction results are one of the best ways to gauge collector appetite. When a dramatic 2005 D error dime appears in a catalog, bidders from around the world follow it closely. Professional photography, detailed descriptions, and certification help drive confidence and competitive bidding. In several recent sales, coins with bold off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strike errors, strike-throughs, and wrong planchets have consistently achieved prices ranging from $44,500 at the lower end for striking off-center examples up to $118,650 for extraordinary, high-grade combination errors. Collectors often talk about the thrill of discovery. Many of these modern error coins were found in circulation, hidden among ordinary change, or uncovered in old coin folders that hadn't been examined closely for years. Stories circulate of collectors who found an error dime while sorting through loose change, only to discover later that they held a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. That potential for discovery, the idea that something extraordinary can turn up in common circulation, keeps the hunt alive and maintains strong interest in modern error coin collecting. The market for error coins like the 2005 D. Roosevelt dime continues to evolve. As more collectors become educated about error types and more examples are documented and certified, demand continues to grow. Extraordinary realization prices at auctions reflect not just rarity but the collector community's appreciation for visual drama, historical curiosity, and the thrill that comes with identifying something unusual. Comparing normal and error coins highlights why the latter are so fascinating. A standard 2005 D dime is common and inexpensive. It has no significant numismatic value. Error examples, by contrast, capture a moment when something unexpected occurred in the minting process. They tell a story of machinery, timing, and imperfection. A story that collectors value highly. Whether it's an off-center strike, double strike, broad strike, strike-through, wrong planchet, or a combination of errors, each 2005 D error coin reveals a rare glimpse into the heart of modern coin production. In the end, the 2005 D Roosevelt dime error coins remind us that rarity and value don't depend on age alone. Even relatively recent coins can command premium prices when they bear evidence of a minting error. With documented values ranging from $44,500 for striking off-center examples up to $118,650 for extraordinary combination errors, these coins demonstrate that modern U.S. coinage still holds hidden treasures for those who know what to look for. Collectors and enthusiasts alike continue to pursue these rare pieces, driven by passion, curiosity, and the possibility that the next extraordinary error could be just around the corner.